The sun began its slow descent over Santa Monica Pier, casting warm golden light across the ocean waves. The air smelled faintly of salt and popcorn, and the laughter of families on the carousel mingled with the soft music from nearby arcade stalls. Amidst this cheerful chaos, Lily, a 14-year-old girl in a wheelchair, sat quietly at the edge of the wooden pier. Her long brown hair swayed gently in the breeze, her pale skin catching the sunlight, and her pastel hoodie and jeans made her look small against the vast backdrop of the bustling pier. In her lap rested a sketchbook, filled with careful drawings of the ocean and Ferris wheel, yet today her hand hovered, unsure where to begin. People passed by, their faces full of joy and chatter, but no one seemed to notice her. She watched them, wishing for someone to look her way, someone to see her beyond her wheelchair. Her heart carried a quiet ache, a longing for connection and understanding that seemed so far away in this crowd of strangers. Yet, as the sunlight glinted off the waves, there was a strange serenity in the moment, a gentle pause between the noise of the world and the quiet inside her. For Lily, this was more than just a sunset, it was a fragile moment of reflection, a space where her thoughts and dreams could exist without judgment. But little did she know, the evening that seemed so ordinary would soon be forever changed by an unexpected act of courage and kindness that would reach her heart in ways she never imagined. The warmth of the sunset seemed to fade for Lily as a group of teenagers approached, their voices sharp and full of mockery. Lily, a 14-year-old girl in a wheelchair with long brown hair and pale skin, clutched the armrests tightly, her pastel hoodie slightly rumpled from the tension. She felt her stomach tighten as the tallest boy leaned forward, his eyes cruel. "Move, cripple," he shouted, shoving the side of her wheelchair just enough to make her wobble. Another kicked at her sketchbook, sending it tumbling to the wooden pier with a harsh thud. Lily froze. Her hands hovered over the ground, trembling as she tried to gather the fallen pages, but the laughter of the boys rang louder than her small attempts. Her cheeks burned, and tears threatened to spill, but she blinked them back, refusing to give them the satisfaction. Around her, the pier buzzed with life, families walking past, couples laughing, children running, but no one stopped. In that moment, Lily felt invisible, as if her pain existed in a vacuum that no one could reach. A wave of helplessness washed over her. She wanted to retreat into the safety of her own thoughts, but even that felt impossible. The sketchbook, her small piece of comfort and expression, lay on the ground, and she longed for someone to simply see her, to understand that she was more than the wheelchair she depended on. Her heart ached with a mix of anger, sadness, and isolation. Yet amidst the fear and hurt, a small spark of resilience remained. Lily straightened her shoulders and drew in a shaky breath, reminding herself that she was more than the cruelty surrounding her. She refused to let their words define her. For a fleeting moment, she allowed herself to hope, to imagine that someone might appear, that kindness might show up when the world felt most unfair. And then it came, the distant rumble of engines, growing steadily louder. The soft vibration under the pier hinted at an approaching force, one that would soon shatter the fear and replace it with protection, courage, and an unexpected wave of humanity. Lily's chest still ached from the cruel words and the sudden shove of the teenagers. Her small hands rested on the armrests of her wheelchair, trembling slightly as she stared at the sketchbook lying on the pier at her feet. The laughter of the bullies faded for a moment, replaced by a low, rumbling sound that seemed to vibrate through the wooden planks beneath her wheels. At first, it was faint, almost easy to ignore, but the sound grew steadily louder, like distant thunder rolling across the pier. Heads turned, conversations paused, and even the bullies glanced around in confusion. From the far end of the pier, a line of motorcycles emerged, their engines humming steadily, chrome glinting in the soft light of the setting sun. Lily's heart skipped a beat. She had never expected anyone to intervene, never imagined help would come so suddenly, and yet here it was, roaring toward her with strength and purpose. The bikers dismounted one by one, helmets off, moving with calm assurance. Their presence was commanding but not threatening, each step deliberate, protective, like a shield forming around her. Lily felt her fear slowly being replaced by awe and relief. The bullies, confronted with this sudden force, froze, unsure of how to act, their taunts silenced by the quiet courage radiating from the bikers. One biker approached a little closer, scanning the scene with steady eyes, and Lily realized she was no longer alone. This circle of strangers had become her guardians, arriving not out of obligation but because they recognized the need to stand for what was right. The rumble of engines softened as the bikers positioned themselves, forming a protective barrier between her and the cruel teenagers. A warmth spread through Lily's chest, mingling with disbelief and hope. In that moment, she understood that courage and kindness could appear when least expected, and that even strangers could make a world of difference. The sunset painted the pier in golden and purple hues, the Ferris wheel twinkled behind her, and Lily allowed herself to breathe fully for the first time in hours, feeling the first flicker of safety and the quiet reassurance that she was truly seen. The circle of bikers around Lily felt like a shield, steady and unwavering, as the bullies shrank back, uncertain and intimidated. The sunset bathed the pier in warm gold and purple hues, but Lily hardly noticed the colors. Her attention was entirely on the strangers who had come to protect her. She still sat frozen in her wheelchair, heart pounding, unsure whether to trust the sudden wave of courage surrounding her. One tall biker, with kind eyes and a gentle expression, knelt beside her. He reached for the sketchbook lying on the wooden pier at her feet, brushing off the slight scuffs and handing it back with care. "Here," he said softly. Lily's hands trembled as she took it, clutching it to her chest. The gesture was simple, but to her it felt monumental. The sketchbook had been her private world, her safe space, and now it was returned not just physically, but with a silent promise of safety and respect. Around her, the bikers shifted subtly, forming a protective perimeter, their presence calm but powerful. Lily felt the tension in her body begin to ease, the fear and humiliation from moments ago melted slightly under the warmth of their attention. She looked from biker to biker, realizing that kindness and courage could arrive in the most unexpected forms, and that some people were willing to stand up for what was right without hesitation. The Ferris wheel in the distance glowed softly, casting a gentle light over the scene. The crowd behind her blurred into background motion, insignificant against the profound moment unfolding at the pier's edge. Lily's lips curved into a small, genuine smile, the first of the evening. Her shoulders relaxed, her heart lighter. In that moment, Lily understood something she hadn't before. Even in a world that could feel cruel and indifferent, there were people whose actions could shine brighter than any cruelty. The protection, the care, and the courage of these strangers left a mark deeper than any insult or shove. For the first time that day, she felt safe, seen, and valued, not for what she could do, but for simply being herself. The sun had nearly dipped below the horizon, casting the Santa Monica Pier in soft, warm shades of gold, orange, and purple. Lily, a 14-year-old girl in a wheelchair, sat near the pier railing, her sketchbook now safely in her lap. The evening air carried the gentle scent of salt and popcorn, and the distant laughter of families mixed with the soft music from the arcade. But for Lily, the world felt quieter now, calmer, as though a protective bubble had settled around her. The bikers, having completed their act of courage and kindness, were riding away, their engines fading into the distance. Each rumble seemed to echo a message of humanity, that there were people willing to stand up for what was right, even for a stranger they had never met. Lily's heart, which had been heavy with fear and humiliation only hours ago, now felt light and unburdened. She traced her fingers over the cover of her sketchbook, a small smile tugging at her lips. The Ferris wheel twinkled softly behind her, its reflection shimmering on the ocean waves. The blurred crowd continued its evening stroll, unaware of the small miracle that had unfolded. Lily took a deep, steadying breath, feeling a warmth that had nothing to do with the sun. It was the warmth of being seen, of being valued, of being protected by people who had acted out of pure kindness. In that moment, she realized that even in a world that could feel harsh and indifferent, courage and compassion could arrive when least expected. Strangers could become guardians, small gestures could create profound change, and moments of care could leave lasting impressions on the heart. Lily's smile grew, genuine and unshakable, as she allowed herself to hope fully, knowing that kindness existed in the world, sometimes in the most surprising forms. As the sky deepened into twilight, Lily felt a quiet sense of belonging and peace. That evening, the pier was no longer just a place of solitude or fear, it had become a place of connection, safety, and the transformative power of human kindness. For Lily, this sunset would forever remain a memory of hope restored and courage shared.